guys, it's Sarah and today is Booklist Thursday. This is a video series I do with my friend Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library, and every Thursday we bring you a fun little list based on whatever topic we feel like talking about. And this week, since we have a holiday coming up here in the US, we have Memorial Day coming up, we thought we would talk about books that feature battles. So books with battles. So I thought this one was interesting because you could go in a couple different directions, which I'm definitely going to. I'm going to show you a little bit of a variety of different books that feature some sort of battle or war or, some sort of big escalating thing like that. So the first one I'm going to show you is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is the third book in her Court of Thorns and Roses series. And so each one of these books has an acronym for the title, basically, and she kind of coined that going in just to make it easier for her to talk about the book without saying the full title, because these are long titles when you say them. And so for the first one, it was A Court of Thorns and Roses, so she did the acronym ACOTAR, so the first letter of each one. The second one was ACOMAF, because it was A Court of Mist and Fury. So this one is ACOWAR, A Court of Wings and Ruin, WAR, which was perfect because this book features a big battle that has been kind of brewing throughout the trilogy, and kind of everything came to a head in this final book of the trilogy. And it was good, guys. It was good. Sarah J. Maas can write some war scenes. I was actually pretty surprised when I was reading it how brutal it was, and I ended up really enjoying it. So this features lots of magic. It is a fantasy book, and there's fairies and witches and different types of magical beings that are all fighting in this war. So it's very interesting, and just kind of the things that were happening in here were good. So good one. Continuing on in kind of a fantasy genre, I'm going to talk about an urban fantasy, and that is the Dresden Files. And this is a book series written by Jim Butcher, and I think the first one is called Stormfront. And this follows a detective named Harry Dresden. He's also a wizard, and he works very closely with the Chicago Police Department in Chicago, and they kind of work together he focuses more on the supernatural type of beings and supernatural crimes and things like that. It's not something that's known to the public, so it's all very hush-hush. He's working with kind of one detective mostly, and a lot of the other people in the police department don't even believe that these things are true or believe that these things are real, so he gets a lot of flack from that. But I love this series. I am actually pretty far into it. I think the next one I need to read is book 12 maybe, and I think there's 15 out right now as far as I know, and I love this series from the beginning. They're really, really great audiobooks, but if you do like urban fantasy, I think this would be a good one because Harry is very funny. He has a really dry sense of humor, and it kind of really comes across, especially in the audiobooks, his humor and stuff. But, he deals with goblins, he deals with vampires, he deals with zombies, he deals with trolls, like all sorts of these magical beings. And almost every single book, there's some sort of fight or a battle or a war or something he's fighting. And they're really entertaining. So that's a series that I really love. Okay, so now we're going to go into a little bit more of a mythology type, and I'm going to talk about Song of Achilles. This is by Madeline Miller. I just read this book and loved it. Loved it. So this is almost a retelling of the Iliad is kind of what I was getting from it. And it follows Achilles and Patroclus. And Patroclus was a character in the Iliad, and he was kind of Achilles' right-hand man, I guess you could say. This takes another spin on it, and it's actually a male-male romance between the two. And this definitely has battle. This is the Roman and Trojan War. And just, oh my gosh. There are some scenes in here that were really hard to read because they're very brutal. This is, a brutal time and a brutal war. And, you're reading about men getting, speared through and arms getting hacked off and all sorts of stuff, a lot of things happening. And it was a very long war. I mean, this was like a 15-year war. So it was a lot. It was a lot of war, but it was also, this book was so good. So definitely more towards the end, it's a lot of war focused because, Achilles goes to war and does all this stuff. So you're following all that, but it was very good. Okay, and now we are going to go into a nonfiction that features a battle. that actually really happened. And we'll talk about Lone Survivor by Marcus Luttrell. Now, Marcus was part of SEAL Team 10. And this was made into a movie with Mark Wahlberg in it. And so it talks about this SEAL team and their missions and what they were doing and how everyone on the team died except for Marcus and just what he had to go through after that. Oh my gosh, the movie was heartbreaking. I still remember certain scenes in that movie that just, oh my gosh. I have not read the book yet though, and I really want to, but this is an actual battle. Let me see if I can figure out if it had a specific name. I don't think so, but it was in the Afghanistan and Pakistani border, which is a very, very dangerous place. And I think they were doing some recon or something, and they were discovered, and all of them died except for Marcus. He was the lone survivor. So yeah, I definitely want to read this at some point. I just haven't done it yet. All right, so the next one I'm going to talk about is actually like a historical fiction. It follows different wars over time, but it's kind of an expansion of everything. And this is one of the most celebrated war books, I guess you could say. And it's also one of the most intimidating books on my TBR right now because it's huge. But that is Once an Eagle. And this is by Anton Meyer. This also got jacked up in my move. Can you see that? Oh, this was pristine when we moved. And then they boxed up. I was not happy with how they boxed up my books during our move last time. A few of my books kind of got warped and I was not happy. It's fine. It's just a book. Anyway, so this book is very celebrated. It's actually required reading for students in West Point, I believe. And it expands the, let me see, I'm going to make sure I get these right. The Great War, the World War II, and the Cold War in Vietnam. So it's kind of like covering those three time periods. And I believe it follows certain characters in those. But look how big this is. It's huge. I'm going to get a page count for you. Oh, I'm already at 1,200. Yeah, so it's a big one, but I've heard amazing, amazing things about it. Like really, truly, people just rave about this book, anyone who has read it. This is 1,291 pages, almost 1,300 pages. This is huge, but I'm interested in reading it at some point. So this will be a project. Definitely. It would take me a very long time to get through this, I think, but at some point I will tackle it. Not sure when. Okay, guys, that is going to be it for me today. Those are some books with battles that I've either read or I have on my TBR that I haven't read yet, but they're pretty well known. Make sure you go check out Lindsay's and see what books with battles she's going to be talking about today. And everyone, I hope you have a wonderful and safe holiday weekend, and we will talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.